Welcome to a Red and Black Sports Special. Yeah, the topic we're going to talk about is the Devon Construction New Zealand 8-Ball Super League. What is it? It's pool, and it is a regional competition. The very best players from around the regions are going to all assemble on this weekend, starting Thursday at the Woolston Club. Free entry, action-packed Thursday, Friday, Saturday. CTV will be filming the quarters, the semis and the final, and we'll show you that on Tuesday night, the 6th of October, and that will be a 2-hour special, 7 till 8. But we're going to set the scene. What do we know a lot about in the pool game? Well, probably we all had misspent youths in pubs, I would think, but this is at a slightly higher level. It doesn't all just happen because people think it's a good idea to have it. It's got to be funded, and we're joined by two of these sponsors. There's a list of sponsors, but the two principal sponsors. One has an interest, obviously, in the business side of it. The other is doing very nicely, thank you, out of the rebuild in Canterbury. And great to see the two guys have got together. Daryl Chambers is with me. Daryl, On Cue is your company. Tell us a little bit about that.
We manufacture pool snooker tables. We've been doing it for 8 years now. I've been in the industry myself for 25 years.
Right. Who did you work for beforehand?
I worked for a company called Drake Leisure Company.
Drake Leisure, yeah, they were a household name.
They definitely were very much a household name.
So, is there still a big market for tables for home use?
I don't believe the market was as big as what it was years ago.
Right.
A few companies have fallen over since the earthquakes, leaving ourselves as the only table manufacturers in the South Island.
Danny Broom, you're in the construction game with Devon Construction. How many houses are you building that they're putting pool tables in?
I'm trying to get one in each one now. We're negotiating a deal where Daryl installs a pool table in each one.
How is the construction industry?
Very good.
Good.
Very
you're
good.
On the residential side?
Yep, residential.
Yeah, okay.
Light commercial.
Light commercial,
Yep.
okay. So, pool, you're obviously a bit passionate about the sport, are you?
Oh, I love it. And I only really got passionate about it working with Brad and him talking to it and selling it to me in regards to the whole of the Canterbury region and how it's growing and growing and growing. And I just wanted to get behind to help him fund it and get it going forward with more drive.
Right, well, this is the second year that this Nationals has been held. I've got a 5-year contract with the Woolston Club, so year 2, and it's grown in stature, and without the support of these two guys, you know, it makes life very difficult. Just going back, slate tables, is still a market for slate?
That's probably the biggest market.
Really? Where do you source the slate from?
Italy.
Oh,
it's
right.
all Italian slate.
Yeah, so not cheap?
Not cheap,
Yeah.
not at all.
What is the standard size of a pool table?
7 foot by 3'6" is your competition size pool table.
Right, and 6 pockets? Yeah. 8 pockets.
We can put a few more in if you want.
How many pockets are there?
6.
6 pockets, yeah, I'm just trying to picture the thing, that's all. From so 7 foot by 3'6".
6, yes.
Yeah. So it's a reasonable. What's the bed made of?
The bed is the slate.
It is slate, so they'll be playing
Italian
on slate.
definitely,
Yeah,
with
because there is another option for home use, isn't there? You don't have
board
to have
top. So just your custom wood MDF board top. Yes.
Yeah. Important for this that you've got the table exactly right, is that right?
Table's exactly right, and not just the table, but all 8 tables have to be exactly the same. So you can play on one table, you can play on the next table beside it, and it'll play exactly the same as that table.
Right. So the setup time, to get organised with 8 tables for the competition, how long does it take to set up the room?
To set up the room will take us probably about 3.5 to 4 hours.
All right, yeah.
Yes.
How heavy are the tables?
Around about 240 kg each.
Oh, so that's where this fella comes in. Brad, of course, will come in. The big fellas, get the big fellas in to lift them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's an interesting market. You obviously sell accessories as well, the
Yes.
cues and everything. How special, how particular do people get about a cue? I mean, it's like a golf putter, you know, you've got to have the right one. Cue, very special?
Very particular.
Yeah.
I had one customer spent over $5,000 with me before he found the right cue.
How much?
$5,000.
Get out of here, eh? What are they made of? Ash?
Ash.
Yeah. See,
English ash. Look at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't get that doing a house.
They vary in weight and
Vary in weight, length, tip size, where the joint is, what they're made of.
is there not a standard size cue?
There's an average size cue,
Right.
which is 57 inches long.
Right, okay. 2-piece, are they still doing 2-piece?
2-piece, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
What would the top players be using this weekend?
Top players will be using mainly English-made cues,
Right.
with a 10mm tip, normally with an ebony hand-spliced butt, and they'll be ranging in the price of around about $1,000 each.
Gee whiz, yeah, so it's not cheap, is it?
It's not cheap, no.
Is it? Oh, I will ask that question a little bit later, but just back to you for a second. Is it Were you a player yourself?
Only when I'm drunk.
Okay. So you're a regular player?
I would say I'm a 4-pint good player.
Right.
6
okay.
pints, I'll start losing.
Did you graduate from darts or what?
Yeah.
You're English, of course.
Of course.
Yeah,
yeah. I've been
okay.
here now 14 years.
So how big is the likes of Super League 8-ball in England?
Oh, huge.
Is it?
Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huge. And everybody knows the rules and they stay by the same rules. And I think that's what Brad wants to do, is streamline the ruling
Yes,
over here.
we're going to talk about that. It's a bit controversial, New Zealand sort of being a bit of a breakaway from what they should be doing. But in your case, is it a pub orientated? Is it a hall orientated in England? Pub.
Fully pub.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Not so many, there's only one woman I think entered, which surprises me. Women playing in the UK?
A lot.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's more, because it's more social.
All right.
I think it's seen as more social scene in the UK.
But when it gets to Super League stuff in England,
it starts to get pretty serious.
Mainly male dominated.
Yeah, male dominated.
Yeah, okay. And get good crowds?
Not that I don't follow it too much that way in the UK, but I know that Brad is now obviously pushing it further and further to get the bigger crowds over here.
Okay.
And
is it televised over there?
Yes.
Right, so it's got a good television
It's got a good
audience,
television audience.
Good from your point of view, isn't it? The more we can get watching CTV, the better for your product. And we're going to also show some of your handiwork during that too. Some of these... I was going to say some of your erections, but yeah.
You can show that.
Always worth seeing, isn't it? Well, guys, we thank you for your support. There's no two ways about it. Yeah, the tournament just would not happen without these guys coughing up and supplying it. They hope they get a return on it as well. You can be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, free of charge at the Woolston Club. When we come back, just how does it all work? Welcome back. We're talking the Devon Construction Limited, the New Zealand 8-ball Super League. Where, when, what times? That's what we're going to tell you right now. The headquarters is the Woolston Club, okay? So it's there Thursday 24, Friday 25, Saturday 26. Obviously Saturday is quarterfinals, semi-finals, and we'll find a champion by the end of the day's play. And if you look at Saturday, for argument's sake, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock are the times of those three events. But it is open from 12 noon on Thursday, 10 a.m. on Friday, right through. Then there is speedball, and that's Friday night. That's something worth seeing. We're going to find out about that from my next guest, who's John Berry. He's a National Committee member and also the tournament organiser, basically the boss of how everything's going to run. John, welcome along.
Thanks, Peter.
Stress all gone?
No, not really. It's just started right this minute.
But pretty much you've got everything in hand?
Yeah, I think so. This is the second year we've done it, so we've tried to iron out all the kinks that we had last year, like you do with anything, and to make it better than it was last year.
Just talk us through the makeup of the competition.
Okay. We've got 64 players from around New Zealand, and to get in this you have to have applied for your local province. So we have Super Leagues going on in South Auckland, Waikato, Otago. I won't name the whole 8 of them now. And we get the top 8 players. They play each other each week over a period of 15 weeks. Well, that's how we do it in Christchurch, but I believe because of travel, they might all travel to the one place and have 3 matches in the
like
one
a
day.
knockout.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's
So the creme de la creme are here?
definitely.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So they're coming from all around the country. It worked well last year,
Yes.
and it'll work better this year. Year 2 is always a little bit easier if you're
Yes.
organising something, that's for sure. Let's get and talk money for a start. They're shooting for 10 grand winner?
Yes.
Yeah.
$10,000 for first prize, and the person who won it last year, Adam Marlowe, is a POM and had to go back to his own country, so there'll be a new winner this year.
Right, okay, and a lovely trophy at stake
Yes.
too, and the innovation of another new trophy, like the most valuable player type trophy,
Yes,
isn't
yes.
it? Yeah. So, and the other one is for, there's 3 trophies up, isn't there? The region.
Yeah, region one. There's one for that we're putting up for Spike Engo. He was unfortunately, he was on the committee and he had a fatal accident last year, so he can't be with us. So there's another trophy going up for that.
Right,
So.
and how's that one voted on by?
It's quite hard actually, because it's going to someone who's done a lot for the Super League,
Right.
and obviously I'd get it every year, but we,
Or deserve it.
Yeah. But we can't do that. So it's just it's recognition for effort put into this, and and we really miss Spike, and I'm sure we'll have a minute's silence on the day.
Yeah,
so.
terrific. Yeah, great. You're going to recognise his contribution.
Definitely.
Now, there is a rule discrepancy. Tell us a little bit about that. For those of us out there that are not quite sure what's happening, New Zealand have a different form from, say, England.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
What's the differences?
Okay, what's happened is about, I think it was 25 years ago, we had a New Zealand team over in the World Championships, and our players, who were fantastic in New Zealand, when they went over there, they were playing
Over
different
there
rules.
as being where?
England.
Yep.
They were playing different rules, and it really was chalk and cheese, like rugby to rugby league. They use a light white ball. And what that means is when a small object hits a big object, like me running into Brad Campbell, for example, you'd bounce back and the ball can move around the table a lot. So our good players didn't match the people over in England who played it all the time.
Because it wasn't a level playing field.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And so they spoke to our committee at the time, the New Zealand committee, and asked us to change our way, change the rules to play the same as they have, come in alignment, so that when we send a New Zealand team back over there, they'll be more...
You're saying that's 25 years ago?
Yes.
Why the hell's it taken so long?
Exactly, and it took Brad Campbell's initiative to start this up 4 years ago.
Under the English rules?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's called World Two-Shot Rule.
Right.
You foul and you get another shot sort of thing. But it's mainly the light white that is the big difference.
Right.
So, and you'll notice...
What does that add to the game or take away from the game?
Well, it's great for TV because what they're also doing is just having the red and yellow balls.
Right.
Whereas if you watch the numbered balls like you do, if you're not a purist in the game, you can get confused. What's that guy going for? Why is he going for that? With the red and yellow balls, it's quite simple. One player's trying to get all the reds, one's trying to get the yellows. And that's the biggest difference to compare with the other games.
But the reaction of the
goes.
white?
Yes, it just runs off so much faster.
Comes further back in the
Yes,
table?
yes.
Yeah.
You can screw a ball from one corner of the table all the way back,
Right.
whereas with the balls that the New Zealand people use at the moment, you can't do that. Well,
But you guys are really mavericks at the moment, aren't you? You're playing under what you believe are the correct rules, but
Yes.
you can't get the national body to agree.
well, it's not so much can't get them. We're actually putting a proposal through to, I think it's October the 3rd, I could be wrong about that. We're putting a proposal to all of the chartered clubs,
Right.
so that all their pool teams can get together, vote on whether their delegate should vote for this change or not.
Would most of the delegates understand what you're trying to do?
The delegates do, because we've sort of tried to get in their ear and explain to them that this is the way of the future. We want to send a New Zealand team over.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what you've got is workmen's clubs are made up of guys, older guys.
Our age.
Yeah,
Yep.
and a lot of them are set in their ways. And unless they think about their 15-year-old boys that are coming through...
Yeah, these are the people who are going to be penalised, aren't they? If
Yes.
they want to represent New Zealand, they're going to go apples and oranges, aren't they?
Well, they're not going to let us have a team.
Right.
I believe Brad Campbell, as I say, who's organised all of this, has secured us 8 spots in the World Championship. And so if we can send 8 people over that have played Super League rules for the last, 4 or 2 years, depending on which province we're talking about, because Canterbury, we've done it for 4 years now, the Super League.
Right.
So-
Why can't the provinces just break away and say, look, we're going to use that set of rules?
Well, we're trying to make it right through New Zealand. So,
Yeah.
I mean, even you go down to the local pub, they're playing these rules. I mean, if everybody in New Zealand played the same rules as they are in England, then we would produce better players and...
Problem solved.
Exactly.
Yeah. The Canterbury team. Let's have a look at the Canterbury team. Who have we got representing the Red and Blacks?
Well, last year there was a wee bit of a surprise with Brad Campbell and Kerry Wirtz being out in the first round, and they were our 2 favourites.
Oh.
But and like I say, this year's going to be better because a lot of the players that thought they could just turn up and win realise now that when there's a $10,000 prize and they're playing the 8 best players from each province, every one of those players is capable of winning.
Yeah.
It's not
Anyone can beat anyone.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Canterbury team's made up this time of?
Well, our number 1 player at the moment is Steve Denton. He's from England,
Right.
and he went through unbeaten in our round of 15 games. So he'd be our favourite from here. But Kerry Wirtz, I think, was a shock loss last year, and I think I'm picking Kerry Wirtz to take it out. But
Is he a
I'm not a
Canterbury
gambling
boy?
man.
Or
Sorry?
is he a Canterbury boy?
Yes, he is.
Great,
So
yep.
Kerry Wirtz, Brad Campbell, Steve Denton, they're my pick from Canterbury.
Right.
To be in there.
So we've got 8. Yeah, who are the rest of them?
We've got Jordan Mayhew. He's been in Australia, a young fellow. He's come back and he's looking really good. He got 3rd in our local competition. We've got Matty Lee. He put Brad out last year, so there's a
Scores to settle?
yeah, and he actually lives with Brad at the moment, and it was his 21st yesterday. So
right.
happy
Well done,
birthday.
happy birthday, mate.
Yeah. Charlie Schooner, he's a character, he's a merry fella. This pool is very much like the Premier League darts. I mean, we have characters, and Charlie's definitely one of those.
Yeah. You've got to have a bit of colour, don't you?
Yeah, well, yeah, he's a merry fella. And we have music in the background and that sort of thing, so it's not a staged sort of situation.
So there's a bit of razzmatazz with
Yes,
it.
definitely.
Yeah.
We've also got Avon Placid and Healy White. And Healy White was the cause of the biggest upset last year. He put out Baden Jackson, who was been, I believe, an English champion, and he put him out. And the funny thing is, the way the draws set out this year, they meet up first up again. So this is Hayden's chance to put it right, and Healy's chance to prove it wasn't a fluke, so to speak. So.
Okay, when we come back, we'll explore more about what's going to happen in the Devon Construction New Zealand 8-Ball Super League at the Woolston Club Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week.
I've got Super League legend Kerry Wirtz with me here. Kerry, you're going to show us off some, I hear you're the tricks man, so you're going to show us some trick shots today.
I've spent a bit of time working on a few tricks I quite enjoy, so yeah, I'd love to show you a couple.
All right, what's this first one you got for us?
Well, first one, when I first saw this, I thought they were trick balls, so I examined them pretty closely. As you can see, there's no pins holding the balls together, but I just thought this was quite a clever visual trick.
There's obviously a lot of balance.
Yeah, it's not as hard as it looks. You can do it with one hand with a little bit of control.
So how many we're going for? 6 here?
6 balls, 1 shot in this one. This was used on a Miller Lite commercial in the 70s in the States, and it's one of the trick shot regulars' favourites.
Get there, get there. Oh, got it! Is there a trick shot competition that happens at all? I mean, just between mates?
And that's a good idea. Yeah, we tend to have a little bit of a fun go. I mean, one of the main things we'll try and do is just see who can pop the most balls in one shot. But at the moment, I hold the record. But,
what's that?
14.
14 in one shot.
Yeah, good was that. Hey, I tell you what, yeah, bit of trickery there. And that is my guest, John Berry's favourite to go through and win the overall 8 Super League. So for this year, 2015. So yeah, he showed a bit of skill there. Interesting though, that just to go back again.
Yes.
Some of the tricks he did were with the striped balls,
Yes.
numbered balls.
Yes.
This tournament is played purely with yellow and red.
That's correct,
Okay,
yes.
and that's basically for TV, basically for spectators.
Yes, I think
yeah.
so.
It's easier to follow, isn't it?
Exactly,
Yeah,
yep.
no two ways about it. Now, are the provinces seeded, or like where would Canterbury be in the pecking order, do you think?
Oh, okay. I think the best way to explain that is, yes, they're seeded. The teams that arrive are seeded.
Yes.
So because I've had a round robin during the season, the person who wins the most matches is seeded number 1.
Right.
And the person who wins the 8th most is number 8. Remember, we have 16 playing, so these are the top 8 of the 16.
Right.
So 8 players miss out. So the person who got 9th is very unlucky not to have snuck into the 8. So that 8th person wouldn't be seeded. The number 1 person from Tasman wouldn't be playing the number 1 person from Canterbury.
May play number 8?
Yes.
Yeah, work their way
and
through.
And a draw made up like that.
Yeah,
yes,
like that pyramid effect coming up to the top. Yeah, so.
But as I say, the number 8 can beat the number 1 for sure.
Right.
So.
Now, it's important to note that it's at the Woolston Club, Thursday 24, 25, 26. 26 is finals day, and that starts at 9 a.m. That's the quarter-final, then the semi-final at 12, and 3 o'clock is the final. So if you want to see some great stuff, it's free of charge. The one that fascinates me, though, is Friday night, speed pull. What's that?
Okay, that's it's just a fun thing we do, but it turned out to be the highlight of last year. There's there's a timer, and you all get to break the balls, and the first one to clear them lifts their cue above their head like this.
Right.
Okay, so it's a speed pull.
Yeah.
Now, what can happen is you have to wait until the white ball stops. So if you smash the balls and the white ball's rolling, you can't hit it until it stops. So last year was fantastic.
How long would the winner take to clear the table? Roughly
1.5 minutes. Yeah, no, it is really exciting. And
so he's running around the place to get.
running, waiting for the balls to stop.
Yeah,
But waiting for the white ball to stop. But the pool players can hit a ball so the white ball stops reasonably instantly.
Yeah.
Also screw left, right, all this sort of stuff. But for speedball, the idea is to get them down as quick as possible. And it was really enjoyable last year because one of the chaps looked around and saw the other tables had 3 or 4 balls left, so he started doing a moonwalk around the table, and we all thought that was hilarious. And then his father came up and held him back, and to give the other guys a chance, and then let him go. He won it. He
still won it.
He won that round anyway. So
oh, good stuff. Now, just we're talking about people of our age knowing what pool is and whatnot. There's a real drive from you guys, isn't it, to try and encourage some young men, or boys and men, into the game, with the prospect of being able to go overseas.
That is actually the whole point of this whole thing. I mean, Brad admits by himself that his time of being New Zealand champion is probably past, and he doesn't get to go away and represent New Zealand because of the rules that we weren't playing. Right. So all the 15-year-olds and 12-year-olds.
Is the game popular at that age group?
Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it more popular. I mean, I think I keep using the Premier League darts. I mean, people didn't know about MVG and Phil Taylor, and then now it's on TV. You know, kids are buying darts and stuff. So there's no reason that would be our ideal for pool to end up exactly the same.
Okay. Where they play, is that a restriction for 14, 15-year-olds?
No, there are clubs that they can go to.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure that they're allowed in working men's clubs, but with adult supervision. They can't go up and
get a drink or whatever. No. So. But they'd really have to take it seriously if you're going to take on the big boys overseas, wouldn't you?
Yes, definitely.
Big money overseas?
I believe so, but if you look at, I often look at online and things like that, and all the pool players say they can't make a living out of it, so to speak. It's not as popular as darts.
No, but it's still an opportunity, isn't it? And you guys, by changing the rules or playing this at these rules, are trying to make the passage easier for them.
Exactly. And when people see on CTV the footage you've got of all the yellows and reds going down, well, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it will help.
Yellow and reds, they're not in pubs though, are they? They're still numbered balls.
Funny enough, I think I remember seeing them in pubs a long time ago, so that if people stole a ball, it's easy to replace.
Fair enough.
You know, instead of having an 8-ball on your gear stick. So I would imagine that would be a benefit as well.
Yeah. All right, so we wish you the very best of luck with the tournament.
Peter.
We know it'll go well. 8 provinces there. Thursday, 24th, Friday, 25th, and Saturday, the big one, 26th. And we will have 2 hours of special coverage for you on Tuesday night, the 6th of October, and we'll find out who picks up the big trophy in the Devon Construction New Zealand 8-Ball Super League. Thanks for your company, and don't forget that special Tuesday the 6th, 7 till 9 p.m.